Good. Wednesday, everybody. So good to be back here. As you know, a lot of the travel took place last week with a lot of the top producers and builders from 2019 that put on a fantastic performance, really grew their agencies, were rewarded with a long overdue Symmetry Destinations trip last week. Had the pleasure of traveling with so many of our top leaders in Cancun, Mexico last week. Had a phenomenal time. I'm sure you've all seen it all over social media. There is nothing quite like a Symmetry destination trip. Not only the fun and adventure that we always bring, the energy we bring to the countries that we visit, but the time we get to associate and learn from some of the industry's very best. And I'm so pleased today to bring to you the Builders Call. Me and Mr. Max Day were down in Cancun last week. We got to spend quite a bit of time with this one of these individuals, Mr. John Ziller, Senior Vice President. You all know him extremely well. And so excited to have him and Paige Jensen on this call today. Max, I know you as well as I think the world of Paige and all the explosive growth that she's seen in her agency. Most importantly, for me, just the type of person that she is, the way she leads, the way she reaches out to others, not even on just in her own hierarchy, but cross lines as well. Paige is an inspiration to many, many individuals here, and we couldn't be more grateful to be in business with her. But for you, Max, before we kick it over to John, it was your first experience on a Symmetry Destinations trip, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Oh man, I tell you, it was quite a trip. You know, it's just such an amazing thing to be able, you see everybody on Zoom, and I've talked to so many people and a lot of people coming, man, you're taller than you look on your Zoom. My camera, everybody thought I was 4'9". And I think, getting to see people, getting the camaraderie feel and getting to know people, sit down at the couch and talk with people and get out by the pool and just feel the love of everybody. I mean, even the staff and everybody. I mean, the culture is just, you can't taste it and feel it. I mean, you know it, but when you get to be on one of those trips and just an amazing destination, I mean, 5-star location, everything's paid for. It's just sick. And so I really enjoyed it. I got to be around Brian some, it's just been amazing. You talk about Paige. I mean, she reached out to me. We got to talk this week. I mean, this is just a group of people, like a big family that loves each other. And down there, it was one of those things where I got to connect with a lot of great people. And thank you guys so much for that. I really appreciate it.
Man, we appreciate you being down there and pouring into so many, and got to meet your beautiful wife and celebrate a little bit of her birthday with her. I know that was a fun experience for many of us. So, John, I didn't want to take too much time up, guys. I want to turn it over to you and let you run with it. I do want to say that this was Brandon Ellison was on the golf course last week with you and spent some time riding around in the golf cart. He was so enthused after spending a little bit of time talking to you about what's going on in the business and what you're doing on the building front. Of course, all of those conversations with you always start with not what you're doing, but what your team and what your leaders are doing. You're so clear and always defining that all of your success is dependent upon the wonderful people that you get to work with and that you've built an agency with. So it really moved Brandon, and he was unable to join the call today. And his first thing he said was, Bobby, was pick up the phone, call Zeller, see if we can get him on the day with Paige and have him pour into Symmetry Nation. So, John, I appreciate you picking up that call and being willing to participate as always. And also appreciate the manner in which you and I accepted second place.
Hold on. Well, don't go there. No. I'm still
said we accepted.
All right.
While it's being contested, we have accepted our current position.
Right. Hemi's on here. We need to make sure that we get in his ear.
Yes. Coming up on the advisory board will be a hearing on the charity golf rules. Apparently, some people, including the likes of our own founder, Brian Pope, need to be included in a rules reminder about how charity golf works. Just teasing. I'll get fired, John. You can stay quiet on that one.
Notice how I'm not jumping in too much other than saying I'm contested.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll feel for me. I'm dealing with a little bit of allergies. Hadn't felt too great since leaving on the vacation. So I've come out. Many of you might recognize the background out here at the Symmetry Lake House, doing a little quarantine from family, making sure they're staying healthy. So John, I'm going to hush up, buddy. I'm going to turn it over to you and Paige, and just know how much we're grateful for both of you.
Just appreciate you so much, man, and absolutely love hanging with you. Yes, Mexico was awesome, needless to say. And I just like, if you really kind of step back and kind of observe like just really what takes place, it's so cool. Danny Young, I just applaud that man so much. I don't know if you kind of caught that, but he was in that room over there, and he was posted up, and he was just pouring into person after person after person. I mean, there was literally at one point, there was like a line of like 4 or 5 people waiting to kind of sit down and, speak with the Godfather. But I know we can't call him the Godfather, but you get what I'm saying there. It's just so cool, right? Like, who does that? Like, he is like, we're there to enjoy ourselves, and he's there to make sure that he can give everything that he can into the people that earned a trip like that. It's just like, I'm just amazed, this company. And just like you said, Max, like the camaraderie, the relationships that are formed at those trips. Like, if you're newer here and obviously you're all builders and want to build an agency, I just encourage that you do whatever it takes to get to a trip like that, to get to that destination, because my heart feels good. My cup feels full. I just loved everything about it. So just grateful for you, Spivey, and everything that you do, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you guys.
Appreciate you, buddy. Now I have just one of my best friends on this planet, the person that I've just absolutely grown to love with all of my heart. You are kind of shocking, the symmetry world, and we get to kind of do this, this life together and symmetry together. And we're gonna obviously just touch on quite a few things today. So I encourage that you guys get your pens out. I always say this, that the shortest pencil is longer than the longest memory. So take notes. We're bringing on someone that we're not sure yet. We got to wait for snapshots, but first month of tackling her 110% contract level. And I just don't think that there's any stopping this individual. And I know that even throughout the week, throughout the last several months, people constantly reach out to you and want to know exactly what you're doing and how you're doing it. And so I'm just so grateful that we get to kind of share it with the entire company here. So Paige Jensen, you ready to rock this thing out, girly?
Yeah, I am. Thanks for that intro. Appreciate it.
You are so welcome. So excited to do this with you. So what we want to talk about first is let's just kind of dive into the process. Now, again, what have you had, Paige? I think we just looked it up a little bit ago, but I think I have it on my sheet here. 16 new writers in the last 60 days.
Yep.
So in the chat section, how many of you would love to have and add 16 new writers in 60 days? Say I, say me, like just light up that little Q&A section. And if you're one of the ones, I promise you are going to want to listen to exactly what these steps are and what the process is, okay? So look at it, and it's just lighting up. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to talk about kind of the interview process, and then we're going to kind of get specifically into exactly what Paige does from a follow-up perspective and engagement and all the really cool things that she does. So you too can add 16 new writers to your team in 60 days. So the first thing, Paige, let's just kind of talk about, like everyone kind of generates their own interviews initially, right? Whether you hire a recruiter, whether you're using the Max Day system, if you're not using the Max Day system, I'm going to call you an idiot or uneducated. I guess I should do that. Get yourself educated with Max Day because it's awesome. The process, we're using it on Zip, and then we're also using his platform as well. I'm just so excited for it. But anyway, so you have an appointment that comes on your board, okay? You call that. Now, what we do is we call it kind of a 3-step process, right? So we do basically 3 interviews with them. The one is just kind of them generating. So it used to be a phone call. So that was kind of the first part of the interview process, where then we would send them out some videos, and then we would put them on a calendar, and then we would do a second interview. Second interview, you're all familiar with. Paige, any kind of tips or ideas of like what you think is just kind of important throughout that second interview that really kind of just makes some sort of an impact? And then we're going to talk about how to get the new agent application packet back.
Yeah, I mean, with the second interview being the first time that we're really talking to that person, it's about getting to know them a little bit, right? Creating that personal interaction, but then figuring out, what they want to get out of this. They should have already seen those videos. They should have already maybe caught the vision a little bit, and finding out, what's their why, right? What's their why at this stage, and how can we solve that for them, right? How can we bring that to their lives and make this a reality for them? So that's really kind of what the whole purpose, aside from, getting that packet back, that's the whole purpose of the second interview is helping them to start that belief.
That's good. I've heard Brandon and Casey say that the best salespeople make the best builders. Why is that? Because it's the exact same process. Like we are selling them on the idea of Symmetry Financial Group. We are selling them on what this can do for their future and how this can impact their lives. It is a sale, right? And so we have to understand that. So it's the same way that we kind of do it in the home. We dig into their why. Why is this coverage important to you? And might hear my phone is gonna, I don't know how to stop it from dinging. But anyway, so we dig in, right? We uncover their why it's important, what their family's going to look like without it, blah, 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 right? All that good stuff. And this process is no different. Like, you're going to kind of dig in, what are they currently missing? Why are they looking for something new? Right? We're kind of heading down that path. We're uncovering as much as we possibly can to then, boom, turn around and be able to fill that void and show them how everything that they're missing out of their life now, what they're unhappy with right now, how Symmetry can kind of solve that problem, right? So here's one of the things that I'd recommend. All right, I want you guys to kind of think about this too for just a quick second, all right? And of course, standard, talk to your upline, communicate with your upline before making any decisions like this. But one of the things that I would say is that, like, in order to get a new agent application packet back, and I don't have the numbers in front of me, I probably should have, but Paige and her team averages, I would say over the past 3 months, probably 100 new agent application packets back a month, okay? 100, 110, somewhere in there, between 25 and 35 at any given week. And I think that there's an art to this, because as of right now, when we send out that new agent application packet out, where's the urgency for them to send it back? Like, can anyone kind of tell me where urgency is? Like, how do you generate urgency in order for them to get that new agent application back? Is it so we can get you going right away? Any thoughts on that? I would love to, can you kind of open up the Q&A? Let's see. All right. So does anybody have any ideas? I want to make this a little interactive. I know we don't have a lot of time, but I want you guys kind of thinking about that. How do we create urgency? And so one of the things, and I kind of ran to Miranda Martin with this idea, and myself, her, Mark Nadeau kind of formulated what some of my thoughts were with it. And one of the things that we found how to generate and create urgency to get a new agent application packet back. And that was by creating a third and final interview process. So here's kind of what we do, and Paige, I'll kind of have you jump in after for any final thoughts with it. But after you're done and after you've completed the second interview, we keep them in qualifying mode. All right. And say, hey, really quick, I haven't made up my mind as to whether, we're going to move forward with this opportunity or not, Paige. So here's just kind of the next steps in the process. I'm going to send you out what's called a new agent application packet. I need you to fill that out in its entirety, send it back to me. We'll go ahead and kind of rifle that up to the powers that be. And what we're looking for is we're looking for a pre-approval. So one of two things can happen. It's either a pre-approval or a decline. Now, if you're declined, obviously that's where the end of our business relationship is. But if you're pre-approved, then what I want to do is I want to go ahead and set up a third and final interview, because if you're pre-approved, I now know that we have the ability to be able to work together. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and send you that new agent application packet now. I need you to send that back to me right away. And what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and set up a third and final interview for you tomorrow. So in order for me to put that on my calendar, can I get a commitment from you that you're going to get that back to me tonight? So that way I can keep this on our calendar tomorrow for our third and final interview. Again, I'm not like following a script right now. I'm just kind of giving you the general consensus of what we're doing there to kind of create the urgency, right? Because as of right now, there's no urgency behind sending a new agent or getting a new agent application packet back. All right, so Paige, did I kind of clarify that properly? And is there anything that you would add to that?
Yeah. I mean, with really, you're right. You know, creating that sense of urgency, getting them that next step, right? This is just how the process goes. We're being very assumptive here, just like we are when we're helping families, right? So, you know, in order for me to know, you know, if we're going to be able to work together or not, I have to get approval from the powers that be. So is there any reason why you would not be able to get this application back to me by end of day today? Setting that expectation, because then we're going to jump on Zoom tomorrow. We're going to go over, you know, our final interview if we get approval from them. And that's when, you know, we really dive into this and see if we're going to be able to work well together. Yeah. So I think that qualifying mode is huge, because how many people do we talk to that sometimes think this is a done deal? This is, you know, I'm doing you a favor by coming here and working with you. But no, we're looking for those people that have that right attitude and want to be able to do this thing right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And so it's perfect. And so what are we doing? We're getting a commitment that they're coming on our team, right? We're still keeping them in qualifying mode and saying, hey, look, we haven't made up our mind as to whether, you know, we want to do business together yet, but let's make sure that we can. And so we get that new agent application packet back. Now, here's the really cool part behind doing that, Paige, is that now that I'm keeping them in kind of like this qualifying mode, now I get to kind of lay down on this third and final interview. We're going to do this on Zoom. We're going to meet them face to face, right? And then what we're going to have the ability to be able to do is really just lay out this laundry list of expectations, okay? Laundry list. I can't remember, Cicely Newsom, if you could text me, what did you call them? You called them something. Expectation. I call them expectations. You used like a really cool kind of acronym for them. But anyway, you get to lay out, you get to tell them whatever it is that you want them to do, and they're going to do it. Spivey, I don't know if you can unmute or whatever, but you don't have to actually. I remember you called me like 6 months ago and you said, hey, John, he said, we dug into some data, and he said, one of the things that we found is, he said that our base shop, in the Ziller base shop, from new recruit to writer, we got it accomplished 21 days faster than anyone else in the entire country. From getting a packet back to getting them to turn into a writer, I think that's what you said, right? If I'm not mistaken, Spivey, it was like 21 days faster than the entire company. And I truly contribute that, and I just needed you to kind of confirm that, so I wasn't throwing out some crazy random thought there, like John.
You know, I'd call you out if you were falsifying.
Thank you,
spot on.
But yeah, and so that's what, and I truly feel, because it's that third and final interview, and we get to lay down these lists of expectations, and we get them to do exactly what we need them to do, right? And so if you're having a challenge, excuse me, if you're having a challenge with people just camping out, how many of you have a challenge with people just kind of camping out in that pre-licensing course? Anyone? Say aye. It happens, right? It happens over and over and over again. Well, if you lay out that list of expectations, say, hey, look, in this third and final interview, one of the decisions that I'm going to make as to whether we bring you on the team or not is, there's two different types of people coming in here. There's one, they're going to start this pre-licensing course to go and get their license. They kind of just camp out, right, for 30 days. They're last minute procrastinators. You know, volleyball comes up and sports come up, and they just kind of like, they push it off and push it off and push it off, and they take the full 30 days to do it. You got these other people that are like, they're just go-getters. They're ready. They're ready for something new. They're ready for a new start. They're ready to just kind of seize an opportunity in front of them, and they're going to kind of knock this thing out in 5 days. So let me ask you something. Are you going to be the 30-day type of procrastinator, or are you going to knock this bad boy out in 5 days? Because that will help my decision as to whether we move forward or not. Well, boom, now all of a sudden I'm getting them through the pre-licensing course a lot quicker because I get to kind of demand that as one of the expectations of coming on our team. Does that kind of make sense? Hopefully it does. I'd love the interaction that we can't have on this, but Paige, anything that you would kind of add to that list of expectations?
Well, to go along with that, right? If you're going to ban this out, you tell me you want to get this done, schedule your test, right? Get that test scheduled right now so that you've got that deadline for yourself. You can work backwards and know that you're going to have this thing done in the next week or week and a half. And that way we can get rolling on the fun stuff, on helping families and setting that as one of your expectations as well.
Yeah, because just getting a new agent application packet back, it means nothing. It means it's like walking into a home, sitting down, having them fill out the application and not signing it. Like, what? I can't do anything with this. With a new agent application packet, I encourage that we don't just track new agent application packets back, but we're also tracking pre-licensing and scheduling their final exam. I know it's probably tougher to get your brain around it, but these people are coming in here investing into a business. How hard is it for us just to go ahead and ask them to invest? On that third and final interview, we're asking them to go ahead and sign up for their pre-licensing, and we're also going ahead and getting them scheduling their final exam right then and there too. What does that do? Well, you told me you're going to get it done in 5 days. We're going to schedule that final exam for a week from now, and then that's going to guarantee that they get their pre-licensing done and also go ahead and get their test taken as well. Right, Paige? Any kind of extras there?
I think that's the big thing, right? Just next step, get them rolling. And that way you're not having people camp out in pre-licensing. You've set that expectation, and that way you know who's going to rise up, right? You already know who's serious about this. You know what kind of person's going to respond well to that challenge and support atmosphere that we bring here. Yeah. So I think you're just really kind of, you're fishing people out right from the start.
Yeah. And Max, you unveiled, so I don't know.
That is just freaking huge. Okay, I don't know if anybody's listening to this. Oh my goodness, man. I don't know. I hope people are on this bill. I hope we record these things because, man alive, when you said, John, I mean, just to set the expectation is so critical, man. And man, you just laid it out on a silver platter, told people how to do it. Take some notes, folks, like you said, your pencil, because I'm telling you, what you're doing is why you're 21 days ahead of everybody else. Yeah. Woo! Setting those expectations is huge, man.
And I feel like if we don't do this, we're doing them a disservice. If we don't do this, if we don't hold them accountable, if we don't ask them to do it because of our own insecurity, or maybe they can't afford it, or maybe this is going to, like, stop any thought or any insecurity that you have with it. Just do it for them. You're doing it for them because we're trying to get them going, right? That whole idea that, a recruit's not a recruit until they have a recruit. It's the same thing. Like, we're not holding them accountable. We're not setting these expectations. We're not inspecting what we expect. We're setting them up to fail. Like, you contracted yourself to really do what's best for these people. And I think that just getting it all out there right out of the gate, setting the strong expectations and really just kind of laying that foundation is extremely important to not only your success, but more importantly, their success. So
you're showing leadership, John, and Brian talks about it all the time. And you just laid out an X and O plan, but really what you're doing is you are the leader. People want to be led. They want to know you have the ability to lead them. They want you to tell them what to do. And literally, you just laid it out for everybody. It's the first time I've ever heard it on one of these calls. You just laid it out. Here's how you do it. And here's how you become that leader that people will follow. You've got to give them that expectation that you're going to lead them. And you're building those expectations of them. If you want to work with a team that's going to lead you through this and get you to the promised land, you got to get some things done. And man, that's awesome. That's
and it really is. Like, I mean, if you think of the different phases of where people kind of get stuck, right? Where do people get stuck? Well, I get the new agent application packet back. Where do they get stuck from there? They get stuck in pre-licensing. After that, then where else do they get stuck? They get stuck with their final exam, right? To go and take their test. They get stuck there. Those are two big areas that we have complete control over to be able to minimize that stickiness, right? And to be able to get them through that hurdles. Then what's next? Then they kind of camp out in training a long time. Well, if we could resort back to those expectations that we set up in the very beginning, boom, 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 boom. Remember what we talked about.
Paige
Right?
said it, John. Paige, even, I mean, she's obviously, learning from the masters in here, but, she said it, let's get your course schedule, break it down, not just a general comment, break it down, give it to them, start right now, send the packet back now. Let's get you pre-approved. Let's go ahead and get you scheduled right now today so that you're finished in 7 days. I've got this plan. We're gonna tell you exactly what to do once you get that done. So sometimes it takes a week or two to get your license, or maybe 3. During that time, we're going to do X, Y, and Z. Here's the expectation of that, and you're driving that all the time. And Paige, it's no wonder you got 16 million writers. My goodness, man. Woo,
Hashtag boom. I love this girl. Yeah, and you're absolutely correct. And we're out of time, which because we had some really cool stuff to kind of talk about too, but we'll save that for another time. But any just kind of final thoughts, Paige? I feel like I'm stealing a little bit of your thunder, and that's not my intention, but anything that you would kind of add to it, the third interview process, what it means. I see some questions in here too that I want to get to, and I'll just answer them through message, but anything that you would kind of add to that?
I think that, that's the big thing is being a leader, right? Getting them onto the next step. And people are generally okay if they know what's coming next, and they trust you by being firm in those expectations and leading them down this path, right? That's how they start to grow that belief. That's how they start to understand really how we do things here and what the difference really is. And so I think just being that example for people is really the biggest thing, and just showing this is a foolproof process. You just follow it each step at a time, and you will reach that success that you see in those videos.
Yeah. And so just remember, right? So just a quick little recap here. That second interview, it's not to just get them hired. That second interview is more or less to kind of sell them on the concept, but take it away, right? The takeaway is one of the most powerful things that we have as salespeople. Take it away. I'm not sure if I'm ready to move forward with you or not. So here's what we're going to do. Send you out a new agent application packet, fill it out in its entirety, send it back. All right. Then from there, we're going to look for either a pre-approve or a decline. If you're pre-approved, that gives us the ability to move on to this third and final interview, right? We're creating urgency of getting that new agent application packet back. Then from there, you get to lay down the list of expectations, get them to do whatever it is that you want to do. And because they have not got a confirmation from you that we are working together, they're willing to do everything and anything that you say, which makes it so powerful, which makes us get them through pre-licensing faster, which makes, right, so many other benefits there. So top of the hour here, Paige, thank you so much. You are so amazing. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And thank you so much for the honor, for kind of pouring into you guys. And
well done, Wild Child. Good job, Paige.
Thanks, buddy.
How's everybody doing out there? Spivey and I are currently in COVID quarantine. We decided if you're going to quarantine somewhere, it may as well be at the lake house. So it was a really, really good trip to Mexico. Unfortunately, we came back with a little bug. I think. COVID bug.
I think a handful of us came back with that bug.
Dingo COVID bug. How you feeling, B-Dubs?
I was going to say it's the Barry White voice decoder. Hey,
Ooh,
good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the National. Yeah, I'm doing pretty well. Yesterday was better. Today I did lose my smell and taste today. So, but I know it happens. So feeling okay though. That's a good thing. A little bit tired today, but feeling okay. Casey,
is that on top of your head a gift from Forrester's? I see.
Sure is. Forrester shades.
Put those on and say, oh yeah, looks good. Those of you that missed Mexico, you might have missed COVID, but you also missed a free pair of Maui Gems thanks to very special thanks to Forrester's. So man, we got a lot of really good stuff to hit. Casey, let me see. I'm on a new computer, so I start to get a little nervous here.
Yeah, man. We got some real good stuff.
Yeah, we did. From beginning. Boom. Is it working? How's that, Spivey? Uh-oh.